Before we start, let's be very clear. This story actually happened. And no, it's not a movie plot. It was 1983, deep in the Cold War, when everyone was already nervous enough. Somewhere underground, inside a secret Soviet bunker called Serpukhov 15. That night, a man named Stanislav Petrov sat down for a routine shift. He expected boredom, paperwork, and maybe too much coffee. Instead, history quietly took a seat next to him. The early warning system glowed calmly in green. Above ground, millions of people slept peacefully. Underground, the clock ticked like it knew something was coming. Everything looked normal, which should have been reassuring. Then suddenly, one screen turned red. A warning light activated because peace was apparently cancelled. Petrov looked up, instantly wishing this was a drill. The system fully woke up, very excited about its discovery. A red signal appeared, the universal color for "this is bad." Missile detected. No explanation.
Trajectories are locked. They are heading for the United States. Confirm the targets immediately.
The computer was absolutely confident. Computers love confidence. One missile quickly became 5 because escalation is efficient. Alarms grew louder in case fear wasn't clear enough. The room turned red, like a warning from the universe itself. Stanislav Petrov stood up, realizing this was no longer theoretical. Soviet protocol was clear.
They've breached the
Report
perimeter.
immediately.
Seal the blast doors. We are under attack.
Orders were clear, but outcomes were terrifyingly unclear. Reporting this would trigger a chain reaction.
I understand the implications, sir, but the perimeter has been breached. We need authorization to engage.
The screen showed the missiles coming from the United States. A countdown began because time enjoys drama. Somewhere, the world unknowingly continued breathing. Petrov leaned closer, reading the data again. Something didn't feel right. One missile didn't make strategic sense. 5 missiles made even less sense.
It's accelerating too fast. We need to initiate evasive maneuvers immediately. I know that. Reroute all power to the deflectors.
Satellites claimed certainty, but radar was silent, and silence can be suspicious. Sweat appeared, despite the cold bunker air. The clock kept ticking, emotionally detached. Alarms repeated, because stress loves repetition. Other officers stared at Petrov, outsourcing responsibility. Everyone waited for one man to decide the fate of the world. Nearby sat the launch confirmation systems. Petrov remembered his training. Then he remembered something more important: logic. If this were a real attack, it wouldn't start with 5 missiles. A real strike would be overwhelming. This looked wrong. The computer insisted it was right. Petrov wasn't convinced. Silence felt dangerous. Acting felt irreversible. He checked the data again. Everything looked too perfect. No ground radar confirmation appeared. Only satellites were reporting the attack. One tiny detail didn't fit the picture, and that tiny detail changed everything. Petrov made a decision. He picked up the phone. He reported a false alarm. The line went silent. Now came the worst part. Waiting. Everyone waited. Seconds felt like hours. The countdown continued, unimpressed by human fear. No missile impact appeared. Still nothing. No explosions. Suddenly, the alarm stopped. Screens calmed down. Red turned back to green. The room fell quiet again. No one cheered. Petrov sat down slowly. His hands shook now that it was over. Above ground, the world kept spinning. Morning arrived right on schedule. People woke up, made breakfast, complained about traffic. Cities were still standing. History had just changed direction. And almost no one noticed. No medals were given. No headlines were written. Petrov filled out paperwork instead. The system took the blame. The incident was classified. Years passed in silence. Life went on. The world never knew how close it came. Computers were upgraded. Humans remained human. One quiet decision saved millions of lives. Doing nothing turned out to be everything. No heroic pose followed, no victory speech. Just a long night and an impossible choice. History almost ended that night because of a false signal and one man who questioned it. The machine was wrong. Stanislav Petrov was right. Courage didn't shout. It paused, it doubted, and it waited. A button was never pressed. A war never started. A world quietly survived because one man trusted logic on an ordinary night in a hidden bunker during the Cold War. And if you love real stories told in a fun way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more.
Big headlines today, huh?
Yeah, I'll take this one.